because we want that recorded.
I
All right.
apologize for that.
No worries. I didn't remember till later either. Okay. Calling to order the meeting of the Lunenburg Conservation Commission of Wednesday, June 17th, 2026 at 7:04 p.m. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio video recorded. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken from these discussions. Not all items may be discussed, and other items may be raised to the extent permitted by open meeting law. Please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes Zoom platform as host for its hybrid and remote meetings, that the Zoom platform utilizes AI technology, known as AI Companion, to create audio transcriptions of meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes, and that the AI Companion is activated immediately upon launching the Zoom application. You are hereby notified that the AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and or following the conclusion of the meeting. All right. I'm going to take a roll call. Do we have Teddy yet? Does not look like it. Andrea Burnap,
Here.
Mike LaRouche,
Here.
Mary Wilson,
Here.
and I am here, Jenny Putherer. Richard will not be here tonight, and we are hoping that Teddy will join us soon, but we do have quorum now. Okay, we do not have any appointments tonight. Public comment, comments are to be limited to 3 minutes and on a subject matter under the direct jurisdiction of the commission. Comments about current agenda items are to be made during the comment period of the specific agenda item. Please address all comments to the chair. Do we have any public comment? It does not seem like we have anybody here for public comment. Okay, up next we have our pollinator habitat updates. Oh, I didn't see any pictures come through, Mike. Did anybody send pictures that I missed?
Yeah, there were quite a few this week, actually. Of
Oh, the ones that were sent earlier in the week. Yes. All
yes,
right. If you
yeah,
want to give your updates, get those going
okay,
on my screen.
great. It's been a great week, weather-wise at the habitat. There's a lot of new growth. I was there a couple of times this week and saw a monarch butterfly caterpillar on a milkweed, which was pretty exciting. If you're into the stages of monarch butterflies, that's essentially where it starts, or, well, not where it starts, but that's a part of the cycle of the monarch butterfly. And I believe we may have pictures of that. Um, and and just regular full-fledged butterflies were also photographed this week. And yeah, a lot of new growth, a lot of flowers that are blooming, which is kind of exciting if you're into plants. And Jen, our photographer, is also, she claims to be a bug person. She goes to the habitat, make sure all those healthy bugs are available for nutrition for birds um, and other creatures that essentially live on bugs. People say, "Oh no, I don't like bugs." Well, bugs are a really big source of nutrition for a lot of insects and birds. And so, anyways, the habitat is doing well. I know later, we want to talk about this now or just later. I see it's in the agenda. But I think that issue has been cleared up, and we'll talk about it more when we talk about Hollis Road. But I just wanted to
Okay.
be positive right from the start. The habitat is doing well. Um, they're trying to water. They're certainly looking forward to rainy days. That means they don't have to go out there and water plants individually, which is what they do. Volunteers actually will, especially new plants. Perennials, not so much because they are such they're established in such a way that they don't require watering on a regular basis, given that they are established perennials. So that's not going to go too heavy into that, as I am not an expert, but I can see a beautiful butterfly.
Oh, it was working. Let me
It
put it
would
back
work.
up.
Yes.
Okay. There we go. Is that the painted lady? Is that what that is?
I think so. Yes.
I think we have a couple pollinator habitat people here, it looks like, if anyone wants to chime in. I thought I saw Ginny. Yep, I do see Ginny. I'm assuming that's Ginny. And then somebody is listed as pollinator habitat.
Okay.
Um, and then let's see. This is always in my way. There we go. Got another one.
Now that's I was told was a monarch.
It looks like one. It's on a milkweed, it looks like.
Yes.
So, okay, beautiful. What do we know what that is?
I can't tell you for sure here.
Okay, that is really pretty. I kind of,
I
that
think
looks like a,
that's common milkweed.
Oh,
that's
okay.
milkweed?
I believe so.
That
Well,
is, I have never seen it look that detailed. That is amazing. I guess I never, it always just looks like a little pink, like doily normally, I guess. Okay.
And takes
Wow.
amazing pictures.
Yeah, she really does. And then is this a,
it is common milkweed.
okay. Ooh.
Looks like
Oh,
that's grasshopper on a coneflower.
yeah. It looks like, is there another bug back there?
There
Maybe?
could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Cute. Awesome. All right. Thank you
Thank
so much for the update, Mike.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for showing those pictures.
Mary, you have your hand up.
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. I got a text message from Teddy Doucette, and he let me know that he doesn't have internet reception right now. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
said
Okay.
he tried texting you, but it bounced back. So he just wanted to make certain that you knew that he was probably not going to be able to join. I did let him know that we had a quorum without him.
Awesome. Actually, it did come through.
Oh, did it? Okay,
Yeah, I
very
just
good.
don't I forget that my phone exists when I'm in the meetings.
Easy to do.
Yeah. Okay. Let me all right, I'm just texting him back really quick and letting him know. And just responding. Okay. All right. Yeah, so we have just to so everybody that's on the meeting knows if they're interested, the pollinator habitat is at 123 Hollis. Is it street or
Road.
road?
Road.
Road. I always confuse the two. 123 Hollis Road is open to the public. And it is beautiful. So if you ever want to go see a pollinator habitat, that's the place to go. All right. Up next, we have invasive plant removal. Um, I don't think Lisa's here. Teddy was gonna do the update on this, but he's not here either, so I guess I'll do it. Um, this is so I spoke with Lisa, Fracolosi, I think is her last name, um, from Red Trillium Gardens, and she would like to put together an invasive removal day sometime in the fall because it will be cooler. And also that's the best time to tackle a lot of the invasives that are in the conservation areas that we have in town. She wants to start focus on the Lane property and also have a like an information day maybe at the library uh not too long before and hopefully advertise on the town's social media. I know we don't have a social media manager in town anymore with the new budget. So what I've heard is that the um Herlin can confirm is that the agents or office people who work in the offices have been trained on how to do the social media now. Is that true, Herlin?
Correct. Yeah. I did the
Okay.
social media for my previous place of employment when it came to conservation. So it's just
Awesome. So
the
if we
same thing.
with like a little graphic, you could post it on social media for us. Try to-
Yes.
Okay, so for this year, we would stick to manual removal, just because if you wanted to do any sort of invasive removal using an herbicide, you need to have a licensed pesticide application license on any sort of public land. So, we don't have anybody that would qualify for that right now. So that's just something that is in the pipeline. If any commissioners have any input on that, just so we can make sure we're doing things the right way and moving forward the right way. And if not, we can move on. All right. I'm gonna move on because it doesn't sound like we have any comments on that. Or do we have any comments from members of the public about that? Nope. Okay. Minutes from the previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from 6/3/2026? I'm gonna take, all right, I got another thumbs up. I'm gonna take those as yeses. Wait, Mary, you weren't at the last meeting. So I don't have a quorum. Oh, you're muted. I don't have a quorum to vote on the minutes.
Yes, I was not there. Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave that on for the next meeting. Okay, up next we have new public hearings. All pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, we have a request for determination of applicability by Edward Kukula for the construction of an open carport at 44 Peninsula Drive. I do see we have the applicant on the call. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay, do you have anything that you would like to share with us?
No, I think everything I submitted and what you came out to see is, I mean, it's self-explanatory, I think, with what I'm hoping I can do. I'm not going to disturb any soil other than what, comes up when they put the helical piles in. The runoff is already there from the existing pavement, which goes towards those planters and kind of sits there on the side of my shed. I don't know if they looked, but you can see where it sits because all the pollen actually congregates in that area, so it never makes it down to the water when it does run off the driveway. And I have, on the other side, I have the stone that'll collect the water that's going to come off the other part of the roof. But other than that, I believe everything else is pretty straightforward. Just an open carport, 25 by 25. The dimensions is probably right around 8 feet high. I think underneath with the roof pitch, it's probably about, if I had to guess, around 13 feet at the center.
Okay. I'm just gonna pull up the site plan that you had uploaded. I think it was actually the additional engineering documentation that had the better.
Oh, yeah.
So I know Andrea and Mary and I did go out on a site walk and look at the property this weekend.
Okay.
Let's see, let me just share this so Mike can see it.
And Madam Chair, I was in Cleveland still, so
Yes,
able to join you, but
I remembered. At first, I was like, I told Mary that you were going to be in Cleveland. And then I was like, where's Mike? And Mary was, you told me he was in Cleveland. I was
right.
like, oh, yeah, I did tell you that, didn't I? Okay, yeah, so this is the road. And then this is the existing driveway. And this is the proposed carport. And then and it was, so this is 156 across. Did we have the distance from the carport to the high water mark? Oh yeah, front.
Yeah, I did submit another one that did show that with the 50, the 75, and the 100. That was
Okay.
the next to last that the agent said she got and she received and posted.
Read this one.
Yep.
Here we go.
There it is.
Perfect. Okay, so right outside of the 50 at the corner. Okay. Do we have any questions from members of the commission? Mary, you have your hand up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions, just comments. And the thing that I had been looking for on the drawings that I had access to on Saturday was the dimensions and the buffer zones overlaid on the drawing. Now that we have that, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments from members of the commission? Okay. Do we have any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay. I think we'd be looking for a negative determination. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second,
All right. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay. So we have a negative determination, which means that you are okay to move forward.
Oh,
No, it's
perfect.
weird verbiage.
Great. Thank you very, very much. And I learned a lot by going through the process of doing all the paperwork myself.
Yeah. I know it can be a little difficult to do, but
A
yeah.
little daunting, yes.
Yeah. Well, but I know Herlin is in the office and she's a really big help. So we're very
She was-
lucky to
yeah,
have
she
her.
was great. Your agent was a lot of help, and I did appreciate her help. It was, refreshing to know that I could send an email to her in the morning, and by, early afternoon, she had responded back to me with any additional information I would need to get to her. So I don't know if she's listening, but I do thank her for her work helping me out.
She's awesome. We really appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much. She's amazing. So, all right. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
You as well. Thank you.
Okay, up next. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a request for determination of applicability by Jeffrey Wilson for the reconstruction of an asphalt driveway at 71 Chestnut Street. Do we have the applicant? I do see a Jeff Wilson on the call. And
Yes,
I
I'm
see you
here.
came off of mute. Hi. Okay, welcome. So do you have anything you'd like to share with us, or do you want me to pull up the?
You can pull up what the contractor
Okay,
has proposed to do. And the only thing I think, I'm not sure if it's listed here, is it's just replacing the existing asphalt driveway with a new one. And
Yep.
so it would be ripping out the old one, and then where that was, just put in new gravel or whatever he has listed there, and then putting on new coat of whatever they do the tarring with and paving with. And that would be that.
okay. Let me share my screen and just give Mike a visual. Mary and Andrea and I went out this weekend and saw the site. So this is everybody can see my screen, right? Yeah. This is the driveway. The entire thing is going to be redone. And then
Yes.
at the edge of the driveway, if you go across the street and a little bit, if you're looking out from the driveway, you go across the street and a little bit to the left, the wetland is across the street. We do have notes from Herlin also about this. Proposed work consists of removal and replacement of the existing paved driveway within its current footprint, including excavation and disposal of existing asphalt, installation of a compacted crushed aggregate base, and placement of approximately 3 inches of new asphalt. No expansion of the driveway footprint, grading beyond the existing driveway limits, or work within any identified wetland resource area is proposed. During the site inspection, the existing driveway, roadway frontage, and adjacent resource areas were reviewed. The nearest wetland resource area appears to be located across Chestnut Street from the project site, separated from the proposed work area by the paved driveway. Existing vegetated roadside areas and mature tree cover provide a buffer between the driveway and the wetland resource area. The proposed activity is limited to maintenance and replacement of an existing impervious surface and is not expected to result in alterations to wetland resource areas, changes in drainage patterns, or adverse impacts to wetland functions and values. Thank you for those good notes, Harlan. Do we have any questions or comments from the commission? Harlan, you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to note that there is a picture of the resource area that's across the street. It's kind of hard to see, but I was able. There's the resource
Right
area.
there?
You can see if you zoom into the middle, you can actually see the water.
Like right there.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah. And so, this is across the street and like I said, a little bit to the left. I think, did we also have that on a plan?
Yeah, it's on the site plan, Madam Chair.
Okay, so this is the driveway. Oop. This is the driveway. And then this is the street that it's going across. And then here is, I feel like that's not truly, that looks like it's halfway in the street, right?
It could be true. It could be that it's under the street, believe it or
Oh,
not.
okay. Oh, yeah, like during a,
Yes.
okay. Did we have a measurement of where it is from the wetlands?
I think I measured it through GIS and it was like 55. Hold on, let me just quickly do a measurement through GIS right now.
Thank you. I'm moving into the multi-tab zone here anytime I go into OpenGov.
Apologies for the delay. So according to my calculations here, it is 49 feet and 49 feet, 49.39.
Okay.
And that's like an approximate calculation through GIS from like one corner to one corner. And that's the corner that's closest to the house. If you measure the other side, which is like the one that looks like it's in the middle of the street, it says that's 73.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments from members of the commission? Okay. I'd be looking for a motion for a negative determination. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Okay. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right. So that is a negative determination, which means that you can move forward with the project.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate all the help you've all done. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to continued public hearings. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, notice of intent by the Town of Lunenburg Conservation Commission for the construction of an ADA parking and reconstruction of an existing hiking trail at Cowdrey Nature Center. I know we have the applicants on the call. It looks like we do have the. Oh, Harlan, you have your hand up.
Sorry, that
Oh,
was
no,
a mistake.
Oh, okay. And it looks like we have the representative on the call, Greg Roy.
I do want to
Yeah.
say that Teddy Doucette just joined, Commissioner Doucette just joined the meeting.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Let me pin Teddy. I'm glad you can make it, Teddy.
Thank you. Sorry about the delay.
Oh, no worries. It happens. Okay, Greg.
Thanks, Jenny. Greg Roy with Wilson Roy. I'm representing you folks, the applicant. I don't have anything new on this. I think we're still trying to sort out review of a different alternative. So I apologize I didn't get you a continuation letter on this before tonight's meeting, but I think there's nothing new to share on this. Unless the commission has something new that they would like to share with me. Yes, I see Mary's hand up.
I
So
see Mary's hand is up.
Madam Chair, do we, one question, big question that we had was about the where the budget still is on our grant, and I thought our volunteer Bob Pease was going to reach out to town finance, but I've been away. I think also Bob's been away. I don't have an update. I wonder if one's come to the commission or to our consultant, or if that
I
still
haven't
isn't.
I haven't got anything, Mary. I think Bob has been trying to track that down. I don't think my
Okay.
sense is the holdup is not in Bob with Bob, but I think I don't know if anybody else has any other updates or has heard anything, but I haven't heard anything past a couple of flurries of email in a couple days after I sent my last inquiry a few weeks back. So
Yeah, and I thought I had had some correspondence from someone in the town finance department about budget, and she had asked for time to come and talk to the commission. Jenny, did that ever happen or
No. I think if I remember correctly, Herlin had said we had a um, full meeting, and then she had asked to come to a different meeting anyway. Herlin has her hand up though, so she could probably speak more to that. And I know we have some budget stuff happening tonight too. So Herlin, please add whatever you have.
Yeah, so I am trying to track down, was this part of the Mass Trails grant?
Yes.
Okay, so I can get to the bottom of this now that I have this year-to-date report. I'm not really sure what's currently happening with the account, but under the budget, I will discuss the fact that something needs to happen. There seems to be some context missing from here, and I don't know if the piece is that we're missing is from Bob or finance. And then once we get that squared away, hopefully before the next meeting, we can reach out to Greg Roy and kind of discuss what the commission wants to do moving forward.
Okay.
It's kind of like a vague answer. I know there there are some roadblocks if that haven't we haven't been able to meet with the finance director.
Herlin, let me know if you have any other questions, right? If there's anything I can do to help with this, let me know. I also just, full disclosure, have sort of been waiting on the next reimbursement request, kind of hoping to start from a level, knowing exactly where we are on the balance sheet before I took that next step. So I would like to see that as well. But if you need any background or something, let me know and I'll certainly share your information that I'm privy to.
Would the entire balance of the Mass Trails budget be from that one grant? Because Herlin did send out, well, we have it looks like two different line items in here, I guess sub-accounts. Herlin, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get at during the budget, but I guess we can discuss it now because it's part of the Mass Trails. So it looks like the revised fund balance is in the negative, which leads me to believe that there have been no drawdowns. So what happens in municipalities is when you get a federal grant, you submit all your invoices to IDIS, which is the federal government's like some money holder. And then IDIS gives you like this number that you draw down from, and then they send the funds to the municipality to cover the balances. And it looks like I'm not sure who does drawdowns for the town of Lunenburg or who's in charge of this grant.
This one doesn't work that way.
Okay.
And I don't know how it's happening on the balance sheet on the finance side of it, but the way this grant works is we have a contract. The contract covers, you know, what specifically what our maximum reimbursement is, but we actually have to pay our consultant, pay the expenses, get the receipts, and submit those for a reimbursement.
Yeah, that's the drawdown. That's what it's called. So when you submit those receipts, we draw it down. So
Okay, but I'm not doing it through a portal or anything. I'm actually sending those by email to the Mass Grant administrator.
oh, okay. So then that makes okay. That makes that makes things a little bit more confusing on my end because when I did the Munis for it, it says the account is in the negative. Um, Either way, I think it would be a good idea to get together with Bob. I know that he's been out, but try to square this away before the fiscal year is over in a few days so that we're not running into issues with Mr. Roy and everything else.
Yeah, I agreed because I was also of the impression that our consultant maybe had a couple of invoices pending since my last reimbursement that I submitted in August, September of last year as well. So the town should have paid those invoices,
I think
but
so. I don't think there's
yeah,
any that I know of. I can check, but I don't think
Yep.
so.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that Michael figured all of that out and got those paid.
okay.
Yeah.
So now it's just up to me to figure out what the ones are that have been paid since I did the last reimbursement and then figure out where we are on the overall balance sheet, I think. Herlin, I think it's probably the best idea is to probably try to get us all together on, you know, in a meeting if we can to talk about it. You, me, Bob, Karen, maybe.
I can definitely try to coordinate that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you would like to continue, Greg.
I think so. Yeah, I think we need to. We don't have there's nothing new to present to you folks at this point.
Okay. And would that be July 1st?
So I'm going to be out of town on July 1st.
Okay.
I would suggest maybe your
15th?
second meeting in July would be better.
Okay. All right. So July 15th?
And that it gives us a little time to pivot. Yeah, you guys, it's probably going to take a week or so to get a meeting scheduled and figure out what we're doing, and then if it would be short time to get something together if we have some direction.
Very true.
Anyway, so I think a month is probably more realistic.
Okay, great. All right. So looking for a motion to continue to July 15th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right. Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you. You got me for a few more, I think.
I figured. Okay. Up next, pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a notice of intent by Danielle and Rachel Brackett for a common driveway to provide access to 4 residential lots at 816 New West Townsend Road. Do we have the applicant or the representative? I do see the applicant.
I'm here as well.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I apologize to waste Dan's time again here, but it sounds like he didn't get the memo. It's my understanding from talking with Ryan today that your commission had essentially no comments last time, 2 weeks ago, except for wanting to see that the planning board process had wrapped up, which it has not yet. We're going to be on next Monday for that. We've addressed the peer review comments. We're awaiting a final response back from them, which we hope to get, in the next day or two prior to the Monday meeting. So I think, again, I don't think there's any new information here. So to the extent that your board is waiting to make sure that the planning board acts, I think we need to push this off. And this one probably can be July 1st, I think.
Okay, and Ryan would be here for that probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do a motion.
Unless I'm wrong, if there's any other questions that you folks have, but Ryan said there was you folks didn't have anything remaining. It's just wanted to wait and make sure there wasn't any tweaks or anything through the planning board process. So I think that's we're in pretty good shape.
I do not have any other questions. Do any members of the commission have questions? No? Okay. Yeah, so, oh, I haven't seen that one yet, Teddy.
I'm
Will
sorry, I
stop
was just
sign?
saying no. Yeah, it was
I
just
know,
a no.
I figured out what it meant, but I was like, stop? Okay, so July 1st, and then, if Ryan
Okay.
can't make it for some reason, he can always just let us know.
Well, yeah, no, we anticipate being ready to go for that meeting.
Okay. All right, so I'm looking for a motion to continue to July 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right, thank you, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Up next, pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a notice of intent by Benjamin Builders for the construction of a common driveway entrance with a related drainage basin and site grading at 56 Ruth Street. This is you, right, Greg?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Again, Greg Roy with Dillson Roy. I'm representing the applicant, Benjamin Builders, for lots known as 2 through 4, and then the address they've been given now addresses, so it's 56 Ruth Street. I'm actually not sure what it's 44, 50, and 56 Ruth Street. We're labeling it as 56 Ruth Street, but it's actually referring to all 3 of those. And we were before you probably 6 weeks ago now. I think we had to skip a few meetings. Presented the project. Actually, may I share my screen, Madam Chair? Is that acceptable?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me do that. Bear with me. Oh, I just requested permission there.
Okay. Did you get that, Herlin? For some reason, I don't get it when people request it.
There it is. Okay. Okay. How's that? Can you folks see the screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. So we were here about 6 weeks ago and presented the project. I'll just give you, because it's been a little bit, I'll give you a little bit of an overview of this again, but just to kind of put us into context, your commission was looking for a couple things. Wanted to see us get through the peer review process that the planning board was doing. So this project is a common driveway that is reviewed by the planning board through a special permit process. And we also have stormwater permits for each of the lots associated with this as well, that is also reviewed by the planning board. As part of that process, the planning board sent the project out for peer review to Graves Engineering. And when we presented it last time, your commission asked that when we got those peer review comments that we upload those to the portal so that you could take a look at them. So we have done that. I'll go over those in a minute, but I just wanted to give you kind of an overview. We have not only given you the comments, we've actually given you our comment responses and the revised set of plans that have been revised to reflect those comments from Graves Engineering. And then secondly, you asked us to provide you with a little bit of an alternatives analysis or some detail on the alternatives analysis that we went through with how we came to the alignment of the common driveway in its current location. So we did provide that document as well. That's in a separate letter that should be in your portal as well. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the plan. And again, we haven't made any alignment changes or significant grading changes since the first time, but I'll just give you a quick overview here. Again, just for people's reference, well, I don't have a USGS map on this plan, I'm sorry. But if you go down Reservoir Road, Round Road exits to the east, and then kind of tees into Parmenter, if you would. It doesn't really tee, but it joins Parmenter. Parmenter goes to the slightly to the veers to the left, and then Ruth Street goes on the up along in between the parcel of land and the lake. So that kind of just references you to where we're at. We're on the southerly side of Lake Shirley here. And there is a pocket wetland, which is actually not jurisdictional with the under the Wetlands Protection Act, but is jurisdictional under your local bylaw. So there's an isolated wetland, which is shown here in green. It's about 3,000, I think, square feet in size, so it's quite small, not very deep either. But be that as it may, your bylaw defines that as a jurisdictional area that has a 30-foot and a 50-foot, 30-foot no touch, 50-foot no structure, and a 100-foot buffer zone, which are shown on this plan in orange, blue, and yellow, respectively. And I'm going to do a little highlighting. We have one house sited in this location here, another house sited in the back right here, and another house sited here. The topography is high to low, obviously down to the all the grades kind of slope down towards the isolated wetland area. And so we looked at a couple of this to kind of morph into a little bit of our alternatives analysis, just to give you some cliff notes of that. I won't read it verbatim, but we did look to try to do individual driveways to service these lots really on the entire property as much as we could. In this case, because of the grades and needing to meet those grading requirements that the town has for driveway grades, and also looking at, I know it looks like there's a lot of there's a lot of grading on this plan, but if we were to put 3 individual driveways in here, it would have been worse, even though it was outside of the buffer zone. So it made a lot of sense to us to combine these into a common driveway along, which is aligned in this location here. And we tried to match that. It's a little bit difficult to see, but there's an existing cart path that comes in right in this location here. So we tried to position it further away from the wetland, so there's already an existing way, if you will, that's located in this proximity of the site. We're moving the driveway further away, and we'll be restoring that area that was former cart path back to naturally occurring vegetation. So we do have a little bit of grading proposed within the 30, but there'll be less permanent alteration, I think, within the 30. After we're done with this project, than is what's proposed, than is what is existing today. So we'll be restoring those areas back to natural, and you'll end up with more of a buffer between the traveled way and the isolated wetland. Additionally, because this project is subject to stormwater management at the town level, which requires compliance with the Massachusetts Stormwater Management Policy. So in addition to moving it further away from the wetland and establishing a little bit more of a buffer zone to the isolated wetland, you're also going to have the benefit of having all the stormwater that flows from the site, particularly the driveway and the paved areas, captured by a modern day stormwater system and directed to stormwater infiltration basins and treated for total suspended solids removal. There'll be an operation and maintenance plan and all the things that you would expect to see from a modern day stormwater management plan. So we gave you those alternatives. We also looked at a couple different alternatives for the alignment of the driveway. These things tend to be a little bit iterative, and when you look at the grades and you look at the needed to accommodate traffic turning movements for emergency vehicles and things like this along the common driveway, it really emerged as the best location to put it in that, to put it as shown. again, walking that fine line between wanting to get it as far uphill as we can, but the further uphill we go, the more grades we're fighting, and the slopes got a little bit more difficult to work with. So that was really our thought process there. There are no DEP comments in this one because it was not a DEP filing, again, because it's local jurisdiction only. So I think that was it. I think I'll just go through really quick, if it's okay, the comments that we got from Graves. Some of them aren't really that significant. Like the first one, adding some telephone numbers to the plan. We of course did that. Comment 2 was fairly significant. The soil testing needed to be performed in all the basins. That has now all been done. So that's complete, and it is shown on the revised plans that I just showed you. There was a note about the stormwater operation and maintenance manual, that it needed to be updated with owners, future owners, emergency contact information. We have updated that and resubmitted the stormwater operation and maintenance plan. We also submitted that to your commission as well, so you folks have that as well. 4 related again to the stormwater operation and maintenance manual with some inspection logs. Again, that's been updated. 5, the stormwater O&M needs signatures. So again, we've updated all the stormwater O&M related ones. Number 6, same thing. When the certain operation and maintenance tasks were triggered, we've updated that. Number 7 relates to the drainage calculations that we had performed. I don't want to bore anybody with this stuff, but let's see. Riser detail and the infiltration basin show numerous 1-inch orifices, which are normal. So we had a little discrepancy between the plant, what we had shown on the plan, and what we were modeling in the HydroCAD. So we updated that, addressed that consistency, and made sure the model jived with the plans and details. So it looks like we had a typo on the plan here. We had some elevations that weren't going to be feasible to construct. So again, we've corrected that. It looks like from our note here, we had a typo on the plan, so to speak. So we've updated all that, made sure that all jives. Comment 9 had to do with our total suspended solids calculation. So we have corrected that and resubmitted the calculations back along with the revised stormwater calculations. If I'm boring anybody, I'm sorry. I could talk about stormwater all night, but I know that not everybody can. The comment 10, the plans need to show the locations of or otherwise identify that a stabilized construction entrance is required. So we have showed that temporary construction access, which is that sort of rumble strip that takes the dirt and the mud off the tires before it tracks onto the public ways. The infiltration trench, strip line recharge, construction detail needs to be provided. So again, we added that to the plan. And then the rest were related to planning board comments. They asked for a turning movement diagram, which we provided, not really apropos to the commission. They had some questions about the overflow from the lower rain garden being immediately adjacent to Root Street. It's actually going to overflow intentionally towards the isolated wetland area so that we keep that hydrology continue, we keep that continuity with hydrology so it won't be flowing onto Root Street. The question about an HOA, there will be a legal mechanism for common driveway ownership for operation and maintenance tasks, which will relate to the commission because you will be concerned, I think, correctly about stormwater systems being operated and maintained correctly. In this case, because it's a common driveway, there will be a legal framework in place that will have requirements in sort of a master deed, if you will. It's not really a master deed, but there'll be deed references in each of the deeds that relate to the common driveway agreement, where those types of activities will be referenced. So you're a little bit more protected than you otherwise would be on a single family lot in this case. And that was it. So I just wanted to give you the overview of those, which addresses the types of changes that we made to the plans. And that's all. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right. Thank you, Greg. And we do love talking about stormwater here, just so you know.
Good. That makes me happy.
Do we have any questions from members of the commission? Teddy, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greg, is there a planting list for this project?
So, they said rain garden, but actually this one, we don't have rain gardens. This one we're calling these infiltration. We're actually doing bona fide infiltration basins on this one, which wouldn't get planted. So I don't have a planting schedule for you. Like we had on some of the other single family lots where rolls in the rain gardens.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, Teddy. Do we have any other questions or comments from members of the commission? All right. Do we have any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay. I think I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I guess I have one more question.
Okay.
As for if it says rain garden, should we have the
Oh, that's a
wording
good question.
changed?
Well, the plan doesn't say rain garden, so the plan's correct. We've got you see let me highlight it so you can see it. Proposed infiltration basin. I think it was a question that that was posed by the planning board, and we like to do those verbatim. So let me just see if I can.
That's fair. I just want to make sure that we have everything in order if we're gonna approve it. If something
Yeah,
says rain garden
think-
and then there's infiltration basin, I just want to make sure that
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
think it's okay. I think the plan that you have is correct. I think it's really just the document that the question that was asked, the way it was phrased by the planning board member.
okay.
So I don't think that'll cause any problems. It's an infiltration basin in this case.
All right. Good question, Teddy. Again.
And that really relates to the size, because it's a little bit more of a, just for your edification, on a lot of the single family house lots, and I think maybe a couple of the common driveways, we are doing rain gardens. I know several of the ones that we approved a few weeks back, that you have reviewed, have rain gardens. This one, where it's 3 lots, it's a little bit more impervious area. So, there's a limit to what you can put into a rain garden, practically, by the stormwater management, better management practices guidelines for rain gardens. So this one just kind of was a little bit at the upper limit. So we did a full bona fide infiltration basin, and then you get recharge out of it, which is a benefit as well.
Is there like gravel put into that, or is it just dug out bare soil?
Sometimes we do. In this case, the underlying soil is really, really good. Here it's a good sand and gravel. So we have the benefit of that here. So we don't have to do anything really exotic to get that to infiltrate in this case.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I would make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Teddy. Do we have Teddy? You did a motion to approve, right?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, up next, pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, we have a notice of intent by Unitil for the construction of I don't see her on. Also, I know there's no DEP. So is there a continuance on this one, Harlan?
We did get a DEP file number very, very last hour of the day, but they did request a continuance to our next available meeting, which is July 1st.
Okay. So looking for a motion to continue to July 1st, 2026.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All right. And did I say the address? That's 934 Mass Ave. I want to make sure I said it on the record before as we continue it. All right. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right. Up next, pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a notice of intent by Nichols Excavating LLC for the replacement of a failed septic system at 146 Youngs Road. It looks like as you see the.
I'll go, but I think you skipped.
Oh, did I skip one?
Thank you for
Skip
that.
over.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
was
skipped 18.
thinking,
Oh, great.
Let Dan get out of here. I gotta stay for the meeting anyway.
Okay. All right. We'll take it out of order. So, at 146 Youngs Road, and I do see that we have the representative on the line. On the call.
Yes, Greg Roy is here representing the applicant. Excuse me.
Okay. Wait. So you're 146 Youngs Road.
I'm 146. Do you want to
Okay,
take
so go
18?
back to 18 Oak Ridge and get that one out of here.
Why don't you do that one first? Because
Okay.
Dan
I thought you were saying that all right, you want me to take it out of order.
Yeah,
All right,
well, no, it's
starting.
yeah, no.
No, we're next.
Take it in order. All right. So pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a notice of intent by Stephen Vitone and Melissa McCarthy for the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family home with a new sewage disposal system at 18 Oak Ridge Road. And I know that we have the representative on the call.
Yes.
Do we have?
Good
Good evening.
My name is Dan Wolf. I'm with David Ross Associates and representing Steve Vitone and Melissa McCarthy, who are also on tonight. This is a continuation of a hearing that we had back at the beginning of May, I believe, and we asked for a continuance. Why don't I, if I could share my screen, would that be okay?
I realized I somehow got muted. I did say please do, but you probably didn't hear me.
Yeah, I didn't hear. I went ahead anyway. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, we had met earlier, and I had come to the commission with the belief that as long as the construction that we were planning was no closer than the existing structures, then that would be met with satisfaction of the commission. But the commission straightened me out, and I'm actually glad about that from the standpoint that the home that was designed has undergone a complete redesign to help it fit in the space better. It allowed us to move the house out of the 50-foot no structure zone, and it also allowed us to remove it from any portion of the floodplain. So I think good things have come out of this change. I hope you'll find it the same. As I mentioned, we've got a completely new house footprint here. The previous plan had showed a house that was not connected to the existing garage, but in this design effort, we did connect it to the garage, giving access right out to the detached garage that was there before. What I wanted to report, which I thought was fairly significant, and again, it came out of your suggestions from the last meeting, is that we did have the proposed deck of the new house 32.5 feet from the wetland previously. And now I'm happy to report that the house and deck are now 51.2 feet back from the resource area. So very happy about that. There were just a minor modification to the upgraded septic system, only in the fact that the tanks were reoriented and also moved somewhat away from the resource area. Those tanks sit only about 92 to 94 feet away from the wetlands now. So again, another positive improvement that came about as a result of your request to us. So I'm hoping that you feel that we have listened to you and have heard your request, and this is the plan we're presenting tonight. So if I can answer any questions, I would be happy to.
Thank you. I want to say I personally, as one commissioner, I do really appreciate this plan. I think this is a much better plan. Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from members of the commission? Okay. Do we have any questions or comments from members of the public? No. Harlan, do you have any comments on this one? I always mean to ask you and then I forget.
No comments. This plan looks great. I do want to make a note for the commission that if the commission does move forward with an order of conditions tonight, if we can put in some conditions in regard to debris removal,
Yeah.
Staging outside the 100-foot buffer, please, because I believe the house is being demoed first. So if all
Right.
debris and removal can be put outside of the 100-foot buffer for staging, and covered or something like that, so it doesn't fall into the waterway.
Okay. So it's debris outside of 100-foot buffer and
Debris and
And
staging,
staging.
yeah. If they're gonna have dumpsters on site and all that stuff.
Yep. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay. You're looking for a motion to approve with the condition that debris and staging is outside of the 100-foot buffer?
So moved.
Second,
All right. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right. Thank you so much for this updated plan. It was really nice to be able to work so easily.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay. All right. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, we have a notice of intent by Nichols Excavating LLC for the replacement of a failed septic system at 146 Youngs Road. And we do have the representative.
Yes, Madam Chair. Greg Roy with Wilson Roy. I'm representing the applicant this evening. And I think I'll share my screen if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
While I'm doing that, I'll just give an update. I think this was opened a few weeks back. Jack Maloney from my office, I think, was the one that presented to you folks. This is a repair septic system, or an upgrade as we call it. So it'll be a replacement system. It wasn't able to be closed last time because we're still waiting on a DEP file number. So we did get the DEP file number. There was one comment from DEP relating to just questioning whether or not, or asking us to confirm whether or not that there was additional flow, whether the system was being expanded, and it is not being expanded. We're matching the existing bedroom count. So it's a true repair in the sense that it's just replacing what is there currently, and no expansion. The only other thing I wanted to report was that the Board of Health did approve this plan Monday night. So we did have to request a local variance to the relative to the location of the leaching field to the wetland, and several what we call local upgrade approval waivers through Title V, and those were all approved by the Board of Health. So I think I'll leave it at that. But if you have any other questions, I can certainly answer them.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. Do we have any questions from members of the commission? The DEP comment, when I looked at this earlier, maybe I'm confusing this with another one, was actually about how the 50-foot related to repairs on septic systems that were grandfathered in. Am I misremembering that?
I guess I should have read it. I just went with Jack's briefing packet here. You know what? I have it. Let me see if I can.
You're correct, Madam Chair.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to call it out.
Will you just read it for me? Just so I
Yeah,
can...
the 50-foot setback distance shall not be required for replacements of septic systems constructed prior to the effective date of 310 CMR 10.00, so long as the replacement does not represent a substantial enlargement over the current system and no alternative location exists on site. The applicant should confirm the date the existing septic system was installed. If an alternative location or design exists, which could provide greater distance from the resource area exists, a lot of exists, and whether the proposed system is a substantial enlargement over the existing system. The commission may consider requesting information on the proposed septic system to verify the project meets Title V approval. Has the Board of Health reviewed the plan? So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy. So it was partially what he wrote, but then there was all that other stuff. And
Yeah,
I just thought that was interesting because I actually just didn't know that that the 50-foot setback distance isn't required for replacements of septic systems constructed prior to that date. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so just so everybody's better, Title V sets the distance between a leaching field and a wetland resource area at 50 feet. Your local bylaw sets it, expands that to your bylaw, but also your Board of Health regulations expands that to what requires 100 feet.
Yeah.
So in this case, so in the case of a repair septic system, a system that's replacing a failed system that's old, and I apologize, I do not know when the system was constructed, but I gotta believe it was, a long time ago. Most of them are. So when in the case where you're replacing a failed septic system or upgrading it and not increasing the capacity, meaning you're designing the new system to manage the same number of bedrooms that the existing system managed, you're allowed to request what are known as local upgrade approvals under Section 401 or 402 of Title V. And there's a whole list of them that you can ask for. You can ask for reductions to groundwater offset, the vertical distance that the system is. You can ask for area reductions of the size of the system. And one of the things you can ask for is a reduction in the distance. You can reduce that 50-foot Title V requirement to the wetland, which is what we have done in this case. And the Board of Health is the one that, irrespective of the fact, kind of like your board, where you have the State Wetlands Protection Act, but your commission administers it and issues the permit. It's the same thing with local upgrade approvals. So it's a state regulation, a Title V regulation, but it's administered by the Board of Health. So they have the authority to either grant or deny local upgrade approvals, and they granted those with this system on Monday night. So.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. All right. Do we have any?
Just one other thing. Sorry.
Oh yeah, please.
There's one other point in there that I felt like I could flesh out with putting it elsewhere on the site. They're really the blue is the well radius. So there's really no other spot. You have to be at least 50 feet away from. You're supposed to be at 100 feet away from the well. You can't be any closer than 50 feet. And they sort of when you're asking for local upgrade approvals, it's kind of a hierarchy, if you will. So they like it to be as far away from the well as you can, even if it means you got to be a little closer to the wetland. So that's kind of the way we arrived at the location.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have any questions from members of the commission? Do we have any questions from members of the public? Okay, Harlan, do you have any comments?
No, I think this is a continued hearing. I think I made some comments during the last meeting.
Okay, all right, I think I'm looking for a motion to approve. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right, thank you so much, Greg. All right, wait, where did my, so there it is. All right. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, a notice of intent by, I think, Jank Construction LLC for the construction of a single-family home with a wetland crossing at 507 West Townsend Road. Do we have the applicant or the representative on the line? I know this does not have a DEP number. Did they ask for a continuance, Harlan?
I didn't see one come through, but let me briefly check. Sometimes they
Okay.
email me right before the meeting. Let's see, nothing on here. And then let's check OpenGov real quick. Sometimes they put it through OpenGov. This was 507, right?
Yep.
They haven't submitted anything, and I don't see a new site plan, which was requested during the last meeting. I would say continue this to July 1st, and I will reach out to the applicant to make him aware.
Okay. All right, looking for a motion to continue to July 1st, 2026, and the office will reach out to the applicant.
So
for
moved.
steps. All right, I'm gonna give it to Mike, and then do I have a second? And second for Teddy. Roll call vote, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, moving on, we are done with hearings. We do not have any administrative determinations tonight. For enforcement, I know we don't have any updates right now on 1168. It looks like if I look at the meeting notes. Harlan? You have your hand up?
Yes, just recently, I was in an email thread with DEP where they requested a timeline from this property owner and the representative, which was given to them as, let's see, just bear with me, in regards to them getting information back to us. And they are going to be working on getting something to DEP and to us. Let's see. Says, I'm sorry, a timeline for the work conducted on the property. I will share this with everyone. I apologize for not sending this out in the meeting materials. It just came through, and it talks about the demolition of the existing house, and it looks like DEP also asked for their USDA contact, as the property owner is stating that this is in either the works of becoming a farm, or is a farm. And we are to hear back from them shortly again.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the update. Hopefully we'll have more soon. Okay. 314 Highland Street. I see we have a lot of notes on 314 Highland Street. Do you want to go over this, Harlan, since you
Yeah,
went on site?
sure.
Yes, thank
So
you.
the applicant, sorry, not the applicant, the property owner is not attending tonight. So basically, I was on site on June 4th, and based on the site inspection and observations, unauthorized works associated with the driveway improvements. Those were the pictures Mary had sent in. There was an installation of a culvert, placement of gravel fill, and alteration of a drainage um, feature existing characteristics of an isolated wetland or seasonally saturated wetland swale. And when I went on site, it looks like as you're approaching the driveway, there was some vegetation to the right that looks a little wet, but it didn't have all the characteristics of a wetland. It could be some sort of isolated wetland that is from the drainage that's up above. And then to the left side, there was definitely a wetland. So I discussed it with the property owner, and he has been living there since 1987 and had some concerns with icing and damming forming at the top of the driveway. He hired a company who said they would do some work for him, which is repaving the driveway. And as they were repaving the driveway, the contractor stated that it would be a good idea to put in some sort of drainage pipe underneath the driveway so that the ice would stop from forming up above. Um, I think he wasn't experienced and had no idea that he had to come forth to the commission for permission for this. He did provide a letter, which I uploaded. I don't know if you guys got to see it
Yeah.
yet.
I can
And
share my screen
please.
so people can see.
So while I was up there on site with him, I did discuss the ramifications of potentially having a fine for the violation, having to either remediate this completely by having the drainage pipe removed, or other options. I said I would come to the commission and propose two options. One would be total removal of the drainage pipe, filling it in, and or filling it in so that the water can retain in that area. I want to make a note that the area that seems like an isolated wetland was dry at the point we are at level 2 drought. It's really hard to tell. And even the soil, the hydrology of the soil, because we've been in a drought for so long, it's not really indicative of what the actual soils in that area are like. So it was very sandy when I went on site. And I also told him that another option would be some sort of informal replication somewhere else on his property. He said he was open to paying for a violation fee. He would like the second approach of either some sort of informal replication on site, and then whatever the commission wanted to do. And I said, my only job is to advise the commission, and then they would move forward with some sort of decision after we explained to them what happened. This person is of a certain age, and I think that there was a little bit of lack of understanding with that, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but just providing context to all of this. I think that maybe issuing a fine, a possible fill, not the removal of the actual pipe, but maybe filling it in with more riprap in the area so that it does retain some water. And then the replication also, all of those three things combined might be a reasonable remediation to the violation.
Okay. Teddy, you have your hand up. Thank you,
Yeah.
Harlan.
Yes, thank you, Herlin. And Herlin, is the isolated wetland that you were referring to caused by the drainage from the pipe?
The isolated wetland looks like it was there before. So the water used to flow over his driveway, causing some icing. And now that the
Okay.
pipe is there, the pipe lets the water flow underneath the driveway.
And so what I think he was saying in his letter is, I see that it looks like this little waterway used to
Yeah.
take water and put it into the back of this property that's next door. And they filled that in, it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. And then I tried looking, if you look at GIS, so typically tributaries are led by a resource. So there has to be like a major resource above a tributary that feeds it. So when you look at, I'm just trying to pull up my GIS up real quick. When you look at GIS, the closest resource area is pretty far from that property. So I'm not sure if whatever tributary is there now was created when the houses were built, like runoff, or if it's actually the topography of the area. But I couldn't find like the original source. This is 314 Highland. All right, just bear with me as I pull this up. Okay.
Yep.
So let me see if I can share my screen. Bear with me. Oh, you have it up.
I do.
Do you have your base layer on to the side, to the left? All the way to the left, there's layers, and you scroll to state data, and then all the way down, DEP wetlands. You just click on the circle, yeah, the top. If you click on both, it does
Yeah.
the national inventory as well, which you want. There you go.
I want
If
this one too.
if you zoom out, so you see how the tributary is out, it's below his house.
Yeah.
So I'm not the drainage from his driveway, that can't be it. It has to come from above. And I couldn't find the resource area up above. So I was thinking that maybe the tributary that's forming right next to his house could be due to the construction of the adjacent house, 18.
Okay. So in his, where was that?
The letter that he submitted.
Yeah. Hold on, I have too many tabs open. This OpenGov breaks my brain. Oh no, did I find that in here? I found that in here. Okay. So he's showing, because he's showing it way over here,
Yeah, I'm not sure
which
where
is
he
over
found that.
here.
I'm not sure where he found that map. It says 1987 to 2000. Because I couldn't find anything. And if you zoom out even more to see if anything on that end comes up, do you see how the tributary that, if you zoom up in that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the closest resource area. And that's a marsh.
Okay. But you did see
Yes.
on site, there
was definitely vegetation that's indicative of wetlands. There were ferns growing in the middle. He actually had a bunch of wild blueberries growing around that he had never even noticed. So the strata was definitely there.
Okay.
So it's been long enough. It's
Yeah.
been wet long enough so that it's an isolated wetland.
Okay. Okay, so Harlan has two suggestions. Do we have any comments, questions on ways to approach this?
Herlin, you suggested filling the pipe with what exactly?
So there was already riprap there, which is a bigger size stone. My thought process was putting in smaller stone, like filling it in with more riprap, which would be less, when you fill it with dirt or soil, it's going to wash away. But if you put riprap in there so that a little bit of water can flow through and not ice over his driveway, but still get through enough to where the other side is still getting enough water. Both areas are getting water. That's
Yeah,
why.
but if there's like a huge overflow event, it doesn't flood its driveway, it just goes through to
Correct.
the next. Yeah, I like that idea. And like keep both areas as wetland.
Right. That's the only thing I could come up with because the other option would be to have him rip up the driveway, which would then I think would cause more damage to the area. He would have to get heavy machinery in there to remove the pipe to then fill it in again. and find some sort of remediation, which would probably be elevation. And I think that's just more disturbance to the area than necessary, where he can probably hire another contractor to, under our supervision, to fill in the pipe with some riprap to slow down the water flow. Not enough to where ice is over, but enough to where both areas are still maintained as wetlands. And maybe issuing a $300 fine on top of that. If the commission is not open to that, that's perfectly fine. We can also add a small informal replication area on his property. He's willing to do that as well. So maybe both the riprap and the replication.
Yeah, I like all of that. I'm in favor of all of that personally.
As am I.
I'm in favor of the remediation and whatnot. I'm not really so much in favor of a fine myself. Just, it seems like he's willing to work with us. It does seem like it was an honest error. I think more about fines when we have people who are not willing to work with us, who have been before us multiple times and then claim that they don't know there's a wetland protection law, etc. But in this case, it really seems and feels like it's an honest error.
I agree. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so it seems like we're all in agreement with or from what I can tell, adding some riprap to the culvert and doing a restoration area. Do we want to wait is the applicant planning on coming another time, or do you think that we could come up with something tonight and you could relay that to them, Harlan, and
Yes.
help them? Okay.
Yes, I don't think they are technologically inclined and we're having difficulties with this whole issue thing. That's the letter actually, he brought it in very kind, and I agree with Mary. I think the fine would be too much. He just offered, so I wanted to relay all the things that he was willing to do. But he is more than happy to comply. He's just not very savvy with technology, and
Okay.
I can definitely, if you guys make a decision tonight, if you vote on both things, I can definitely relate and work with him closely so that we can get this up and going.
Okay.
So do we need to vote, Madam Chair?
I would
as
think
a
so.
matter of formality?
Yeah, so let me take a quick little poll. Are we all thinking that adding the riprap to the culvert with a restoration area is the best path forward? I got Teddy. I got Andrea. I got Mike.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So and so I have a motion. I'm looking for a motion to approve these actions for the restoration of the area that's in violation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay. Thank you so much for working on that with them, Harlan.
Sure.
And let us know if you need anything on that. Okay. Up next. We don't have any emergency certifications. We don't have anything under updates. Do we have anything under topics unknown? Do we have anything that do we want to pick up bylaw discussion again soon now that, Harlan?
I'm sorry, I missed under topics of known. I had sent out an email today about I don't know if everybody's aware about the environmental bond bill that is going before the House. They were supposed to meet today at 1. I'm not sure what happened. But I thank you all for at least looking at it if you did. I know that Teddy and Andrea both reached out. And it's very important that we keep our eyes on things like this. If any of you haven't had a chance to read it or look it over, I would highly suggest you do, as the changes that are proposed will directly impact every one of you as commissioners. It's something that we should be looking at closely and possibly discussing. I have discussed the potential changes with our town manager. And yeah, we just have to be very aware of the things that are kind of happening. And they're happening very quickly as of recent. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Right. And has everybody had a chance to see that? I know Andrea, Teddy, and I did. Mike, did you have a chance to see that?
I did, but unfortunately, I was not able to respond because I was on my bike ride. So I
Okay.
was unable to respond by the 12:30 deadline that we were asked to respond by. So I agree with Herlin that this is very important stuff, and we should certainly send our voice in to make sure that we don't have our rights removed. That's what I understood what was trying to do. They're trying to go around. Is that
Our authority, I think I would say.
saying
Yes.
they don't need our authority to go ahead with certain regulations regarding wetlands, and that's disturbing to me, knowing that there are groups trying to do that, and we should certainly voice our opinion and our concern that we don't want this to happen. And if it means making a call or about our opposition, we should certainly do so.
Thank you, Mike. So, where they didn't end up voting, it sounds like you do have some more time.
Okay.
And the other thing that we could do is, if we have a little bit more time, if you know people who you think would be willing to call too, or send letters. Herlin sent a great letter earlier. People could also take something like that and tweak it and send it in. Mary, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought though.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that the we here is the town, and not just us as a commission, because what we actually are charged with presiding over is the will of the town and the town's bylaw subsection. That's the Wetland Protection Act, or the municipal wetland regulation that's been enacted by the will of the town, and under our home rule jurisdiction. And so what what the proposal seems to be doing is taking away home rule authority from the town. So I would encourage anybody who has the ability and inclination to reach out, to actually reach out on behalf of the town, right? Because we are all members of the town, and those of us that sit here at the table tonight are members of the commission that have been given the authority to, deliberate on the matter of the town municipal laws, but that it's really the will of the town that we represent. And that to me is just a huge deal, with the state wanting to take away home rule from the towns. That's all.
That's an excellent point, Mary. Thank you. Yeah, so it sounds like we still have time to reach out, and maybe ask people that may be interested to also reach out. There's a phone number, and there's also a email that Herlin sent that has their email addresses and the phone number to the office. So if anybody is interested in taking that on, or did you know when they're planning on voting on this now? Did I miss that?
We don't know, but it's very quick. So the amendments they met last night and put together 583 amendments to be voted on today at 1. So when I mean quick, I mean quick. Things are happening very quickly. But I'm sure MACC will notify us again. And I do keep there's a live feed sometimes that comes through. You can look it up with like civic engagement, and they'll have like the State House, the House of Representatives. I keep that sometimes in the background just in case, because this has been circulating since last year. But if anything does come up, I will notify everybody. I don't know as of yet when they're going to meet again to vote for this, but I'm sure we'll be hearing about it shortly.
Okay. I think it's wild that they can meet last night, come up with 587 amendments and just put them all into one bill. All different things, and then vote on it, 15 hours later.
It's very strange.
Yeah. It doesn't, I mean, if we want to talk about anything, we have to post it 48 hours in advance so that everybody has the ability to know what we're going to discuss and come here and discuss it with us. So that seems just crazy to me, but here we are. Okay, so thank you for pointing that out, Harlan, and bringing that up because it is very important. So unless we have anything else under the topics unknown, we have the bylaw discussion. I know that we had tabled that for a bit just because there was so much happening in town, but it might be something that we want to start looking at as far as the wetland, as far as the permitting fees structure, and start, figuring out how to approach that. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can start working towards. I've mentioned in the past, it's just a verbiage so we have to change it in the town code charter first. And I have to meet with legal to discuss the path that they want us to go with first.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you could do that at one point with his office hours, that would be great. And if you want, I would be happy to go with you too for that.
That would be great. Yeah, I will let you know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'd want to definitely just keep that as something that we start talking about again so that it's something we wanted to do for a while. And it would be nice to get some movement on that finally. And we don't want to be doing it as it gets closer to, although all year is budget season, as it gets closer to, the crazy part of budget season when nobody has time for anything. But also we're going to have to do something at town meeting too. So we want to be prepared for that. Okay. So conservation budget. We have a budget. We have budgets to look at. Did everyone get a chance to see Harlan's email with our account?
I have not. I know she sent an email, but I've not had a chance to review it yet.
Me neither.
Okay. I'm gonna pop it up on my screen.
So I wanted to interject by saying that the way the land use budget is set up is very confusing because all our monies go into one pot. But so then I only drew year-to-date reports from these actual active accounts that we have. One of them is the Mass Trails grant that has a negative balance, which I have to sit down and figure out what the status of this is. We have the Haas account, which is Hollis Road, and that's a revolving
Hang
account.
on.
Go ahead.
It would be helpful for me to see what you're looking at while
Oh,
you're
sure.
talking to it.
I am sharing my screen as we speak. I hope. Wait, no, is that the wrong one? Where is the screen that I'm on? My computer's being Conservation Commission documents. Is it this one? It's this one. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All
So
right,
I just
which one-
wanted I wanted to give a quick summary before we went into each account.
Okay.
So it's the Mass Trails Grant, Hollis Road, timber rights, and then the wetlands bylaw account. Every other account that we have that is related to conservation is either account with a zero balance, which was just left open forever, or a grant account where we are receiving funds from from some sort of grant or endowment. Like there's one where somebody left a large amount of sums to the Conservation Commission that the town manager kind of keeps track of. And I don't have access to that because it comes directly in from a bank, not through Munis, our municipal finance system. So that was more for a clarification as to why there's only these 4 accounts that are
Is that
reflected.
the Chris,
Sean Kelly fund.
Sean Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
would not be reflected under Munis because it's a bank almost transaction, not an internal Munis like expenditure and
But it seems like it ought to be in Munis because we should have the ability to draw funds from that account if we elected to, right?
I said the same thing.
I agree.
I said the same thing. And I'm not sure why we don't have like I don't even know what the process is to like if we wanted to use those funds, what are the stipulations? Was there a contract in place when the funds were allocated to CONSCOM? Are there fees from that account that are being charged for us holding money in a bank? Like
I feel like there ought to be some transparency there. It is a sizable pot of money, right? Which,
Right.
Hopefully the town has invested in some type of fund that yields some gains, right? But there should be some transparency there, because it was specifically and directly allocated to Lunenburg Conservation Commission by the bequest of the grantor. So we should have visibility to what it is, month over month. And we are chartered also with ensuring that it's being used for Conservation Commission purpose, right? Which it sounds like right now we have absolutely no idea.
Correct. Yeah, I am in complete agreement. And I think when I met with the town manager and Bob Pease, she said that she was going to start sending over those account. She says that she gets statements over to me. So I will just send her a little nudge to remind her so that we can kind of see where we're all at with.
But it seems like she shouldn't even have to do that. It seems like it should be in Munis, and the bank notices should go to finance or whoever posts the accounts to Munis, and that it should be visible to you through Munis.
Right. I agree with that
This
also.
other thing seems like it's some kind of manual sort of workaround something, but the transparency should be all the funds should be visible in Munis.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, I'm not, honestly, it occurs to me that it could sound like I'm just disparaging the town manager, and she's had a hell of a lot of crap to go through to keep the town running over the past year. So it could just be that this, was least of her worries because we haven't come to her and said, oh my God, the sky's falling because we don't have this money. And I certainly could understand that, but it seems like it's time to, we're past the town meeting. Seems like we ought to start getting some of this, other lower priority stuff sorted out.
I think that we now have a finance director who is taking over the role of actually putting in process and procedures that probably weren't implemented in the past. So I know that we're in the path of we're in the right direction. We're walking towards there. So I think it's,
Okay.
trying to, yes. So,
I had an email not that long ago. I mean, I was okay, December-ish, where they gave me the balance of that Sean Kelly fund, but I can't find it now. But it was like pulling teeth to get that, and just to make sure that it was still out there somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard it's a significant amount of money, but
Yeah.
I will definitely be working at getting that either on Munis, finding out why we can't get it on Munis if we can't. And then, like Mary said, just if we have access to our funds, we can actually know what's happening with them. A little bit of transparency for me is also key. But if you want to start with the Hollis Road,
Yeah. All right.
so for fiscal year 26, which runs from July 1st of 2025 to June 30th of 2026, which is soon coming. These are it's not a detailed expenses. If anybody wants a detailed expense report, I can definitely get that to you, but I was trying to put this together. It's been a very hectic week this week. And basically we have the prior fund balance for this account, excuse me, which is the previous year, 2025, and then the changes in the fund, which is expenses of things that we've paid for, and then the actual current balance as of today.
Okay. So that is
The 27,000.
27,026.54.
Right. And
Okay.
the reason I did this is because I want to use that revised fund balance to establish the budget for 2027 for each account. And establishing a budget just lets us use that money. If we establish the budget at 27,000, 2654, then that's how much money we can potentially use next year from this account.
Okay. So last year, I think we divided it up to purchase of service at $10,000 and then just put the remainder
Right.
to the maintenance of grounds.
Mhm.
Do we want to do the same thing this year? Anyone have any feelings either way? It seemed to work out for us last year. We stayed within.
It looks like from
Those-
last year, there's still $7,000 available for that.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just an FYI, last year that money may have been okay, given that we were receiving income from the custodian, correct, on that account?
Yeah, but
So we-
sorry, keep going.
So we've had 6 months of no income. So, and plus we're finding out that, we may have additional expenses
Yep.
that may exceed $10,000. So,
we'd be making the whole thing available.
okay,
10,000 would go to the account 15192, and then the rest would go to 15. Oh, they're both 15192. The sub account for purchase of service would be 10,000 if we went that way, and then the sub account for the maintenance of grounds superintendent maybe would be like the remaining. So all of the funds would be available to us. It
Okay.
wouldn't be.
so we're not limiting ourselves by, okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yep. Do we have any questions or comments about setting budgets here?
So this is our budget for the year that was granted by the town budget. And we have additional funds that we are not aware of how much that is that the town manager is overseeing.
So this
have
is one
correct.
of our accounts in we have a couple of accounts in the town budget. This is Munis. This is like the system. So this is the Hollis Road revolving budget. So this is money specifically for the property that the pollinator habitat is on and the home that we used to have a custodian at. So most of this money, I would say probably all of this money, came in from the custodian funds that we received. And they all went into this account. And then we use this account for maintenance at the residence
Understood.
at that property.
Thank you.
And so this is just one fund that we're going to be looking at. And we have to, the town makes us since there's two sub accounts in here, we need to divide it up into what we want to set as our budgets for these two sub accounts. And then one is purchase of service, which I think would be, I guess, like, Mike had a quote for the cleaning. I think that would probably go under services. Maybe. I mean, maintenance of grounds superintendent, though, I feel like that kind of goes to the home repairs. I don't know, maybe that. I don't really know. Oh, purchase of service is probably the stuff at Mackey. I'm guessing, like the things that we buy. I don't know. I don't know how we divvy that up and decide what goes to what.
Probably Home Depot as well.
Okay, yeah. It says usually I would think of that as not purchase of service though.
Okay.
But that is, I don't see anything for a Home Depot unless that goes under maintenance. But Harlan, you had your hand up. Help me out here if you have better info.
I don't know. For purchase of services, I imagine it's something that we need for when you subcontract somebody to do something for the house. And then I think the maintenance of the grounds is just general maintenance. I imagine like you need to buy something new for the property to maintain it and keep it at, my hand was up because I would like for the commission to actually vote on the fiscal year 27 budget. So if after every piece we can vote on the appropriation and allocation of funds,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, so I was thinking we can vote for the allocation on this fund right now, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. That was what I was hoping to get to. So does anyone have any issues with us establishing 10,000 for the purchase of service and then 17,026.54 for the maintenance of grounds?
Go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Why did I just go to Okta? That was weird. Okay, roll call. I'm so used to having it right in front of me. Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right, one down. Timber rights. In timber rights last year, it looks like we put 1,000 to purchase a service and 9,000 to supplies. And that is because I believe the town limited us to a $10,000 budget. Is
Right.
that still a thing, Carlin?
Yes, that is procurement law. Anything over $10,000 has to go out to bid, and then prevailing wages come into place.
Okay. So do we want to stick with, it looks like we have 40,000 in this fund. So we want to stick with 1,000 for purchase of service and 9,000 for supplies for the upcoming fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about that before I do a roll call vote? Like
Well,
what timber
yeah.
rights is, or
So this will be for the fiscal year. Yeah, so the thing that I'm thinking about, Jenny, is you and I applied for grants to start the actual execution work on the parking areas that, our consultant has, done the prep work on, right? For Table
Yeah.
Rock and for Reno. And if we get those grants, we have the benefit of receiving those grants, then we would need to provide matching funds. And matching
Yeah.
funds, I think, would come out of this.
yes.
And matching funds, I think the way we had forecasted would exceed more than $10,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have 2 years to execute
Hopefully
on the
we get
grants,
that.
right? Yeah, I mean, we won't, it sounds like, from my conversation with the grant administrator today, we won't know possibly for a couple of months whether we get it or not, but shouldn't we allocate at least enough funds to cover those grants?
Yeah, and that was 15,000 per grant, right?
I think
Fish.
so, yeah.
So, Herlin, if we are, I guess the majority of what we use this fund for is for grants or things that are happening at the conservation properties.
Conservation property improvements and maintenance.
Yeah. Is this a rule that we have to follow? Because I don't see us needing anything that we would put out to bid that would be over $10,000 for what we use this fund for.
It would be for services provided. So the $10,000 cap is only for services.
Okay. Okay, so we could put a $10,000 cap on services and then
Yes.
put the rest to supplies?
Yes.
Okay. I think does that sound good to you, Mary? If I were to say 10,000, we could say 10,000 for purchase of service and then 30,329.11 for supplies?
Yeah, I think that's probably good because if we were going out to bid for services, we wouldn't be in a position to execute on that likely in the first half of, or in the second half of the fiscal year anyway, right? Because we're probably not even going to have the contract until January, which means then we'd have to put together RFQs, get those circulated, bring them back. Yeah, so I think we're fine doing it that way.
Okay. Or do we want to even go a little bit lower on purchase of service and then put a little bit more into supplies?
No, I think the way you
Okay.
had proposed it before is fine.
Okay. So 10,000 for purchase of services and then the remainder of $30,329.11 in supplies. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
and I for myself. And also, I just wanted to say the Timber Rights Fund, in case anybody doesn't know. So remember, I didn't know. My husband is making so much noise in the background. The Timber Rights is the fund that is funded by forestry at the conservation land. I think that's the only place that this fund is receiving funds from, unless anyone has anything else to say about that, just so everybody knows where those funds come from.
Yeah, which means they're not inexhaustible and they're not auto renewing.
Right. Because we don't do forestry every 6 months, or there's a big time between how often you can do timber harvesting. Okay. Up next, wetland bylaw fees. So these are the funds that we have collected from our permitting.
Correct.
And we don't need to establish anything for this one, do we? Or is this just for our?
You can establish a budget. So these funds can be used for anything in the benefit of conservation.
Okay. So, I mean, it would make the most sense to establish a budget for the entire fund balance.
Or even half, or I mean, if you've never used the funds before, let's not get too wild.
Okay.
Hey, yeah,
But
so we've never used the funds before,
you can
nor have we had visibility to those funds before. In my naivety, I thought that the previous town manager was recouping these funds and applying them towards the personnel budget. And I know they didn't balance out, right? But it's better to have some funding towards a personnel budget than zero funding towards a personnel budget. But I don't know.
Under the Wetlands Protection Act, I'm not sure if that is correct. So these funds, if it could cover, it would have to solely cover my salary and nothing else. If they were allocating those funds towards that. It's an account that is controlled by the commission only. So the funds that go to the town are fees for violations. That goes into the town's revolving fund. Anything else is the commissions. So these funds can be used for anything in the benefit of CONSCOM, in previous places of employment. You can use them to put together flyers for conservation. We used to do like new homeowner flyers, like, hey, you bought a house, there's a wetland behind you. I think we went over this. Do you remember the flyers that you guys had?
Yeah.
So this would be like a fund that you would use to purchase or print out more flyers, or that this
That
is
would
what
be
you,
great.
yeah, that's exactly what you would use this for. You could use it for flyers, you could use it for putting together an event, for anything that you wanted to that was in the benefits of conservation, without obviously being too egregious. We're not gonna buy pizza for everybody with it, but we can definitely use it for things in the benefits of conservation.
Okay. What would you recommend setting a budget setting a number? Carolyn?
Because we don't have a structured fee schedule that is reflective of surrounding towns, I think maybe half of it now, just in case, and we see where that goes. Speaking of the future, I have put together goals and objectives for myself in this role. And one of the things that I would like to do is a guided hike once a week or once a month. And
awesome.
That's something that I would like to use some of those funds for, putting out a flyer, putting together maybe a liability waiver, and setting up something where people can go. And so half of it would be great to start off with. I wouldn't be using all of it, just a small amount, if that. But I think maybe half to start off with.
Okay. So that would be about 93.50. So, if we were to just set the budget, say 93.50.
Yeah, that's great.
And then have the remainder be the 93.53.16. But we just say the budget is 93.50, so nobody cares what the remainder is anyway.
Right.
Make a motion that we allocate 93.50.
Yeah.
Or what do we call this fund?
The Wetlands Protection Bylaw Fees Fund.
Okay, yeah, I make a motion that it be 93.50.
Second.
Do I have a second? All right. Roll call vote. Mary Wilson.
Aye.
Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
Andrea Burnett.
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
And I for myself. Okay. And then the last one is the Mass Trails Grant, which is a little bit different because it has expenses and revenue.
Right. So this we don't have to set a budget for. I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what it looks like on Munis, or what is reflective as prior fund balance, the changes, and then the revised fund balance. But I think that this is something that I have to work through with both Mary and Commissioner Wilson and the finance director, so that we can kind of get it sorted out. Excuse me.
So it looks like we've purchased 13,548 out of 29,530. Is there, and so for encumbrances, we have no idea what that is. Oh no, is that the portion that we are planning for the outstanding grants?
No,
Mary?
I think that's from last year.
Okay. Well, we do have a grant from last year. I don't know if they're thinking that, was that right about the amount that you had? I guess I want to say encumbered, Mary, for that grant that we're working on now?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close, because I think the total request was 61,000, right? So 20% would have been around 20 something.
So
Yeah.
15. I mean, no, yeah, 25% would have been 15.
Yeah. No.
Huh. Yeah, it's hard to see what, I mean, it looks like revenue, um, would be, I think, I would guess what we've taken in, right? What they've given us.
Well,
So,
then there was that whole thing about the matching funds getting funded by ARPA too.
yeah. And then we still haven't figured out that, um, if that's an issue or not, right?
ARPA
Yeah,
funds?
yeah. So we had submitted the grant proposals, right, with the 20% matching allocated by the commission to come out of timber rights. But then the town had some ARPA funds that they were not able to distribute. So Bob, who was then still on the commission, went to the select board and requested that those ARPA funds be allocated to conservation to support the matching funds. And that was approved, voted on and approved by the select board. But then when Jen came into office as town manager, she had communicated with Jenny that there might be an issue there. I don't know that we ever got a confirmation that there was an issue there. But that's, in my mind, that's a question. But, and a big question to get answered.
So both the town manager and Bob Pease and myself met in regards to this. And
Okay.
I think the funds from our ARPA were allocated because right now, when I met with all of them, there was $100 left on the ARPA funds for
Mhm.
this grant. And she and Bob had said, well, it's all done because the problem with ARPA funds is funds had to be used by the end of fiscal year 2025. Sorry, by December in fiscal year 2025, which was not this past December, but the previous December. And any other monies you had left over had to either be refunded back or put into the general fund. So we agreed that we were going to put those $100 back into the general fund. Does any of this make sense to anybody?
Well, the thing that I don't understand from a mechanics of the budget kind of perspective, right? Okay, so allocating the ARPA funds, but because the grant had not yet, I think, not yet consumed those funds, does that mean that they just all went away?
It means
That's what I
that
don't understand.
it means that we can't use them for that anymore.
Okay.
So if you got an invoice today for those $100, we wouldn't be able to use those $100 to pay for that invoice.
It's just the $100.
Yeah, for the yeah, just
Okay.
$100. That's all we had left in the ARPA funds was $100, $101.35. So I think we need clarification from Mr. Pease as to everything financial, and he's away. I was supposed to sit down with him again.
Mhm.
So
I think I might have figured some stuff out. So the 28,639.07 was the matching funds that we received in 10/15/2025 from DCR.
Okay.
I have an email from Ezekiel Ayala to Mary, Bob, myself, and Mylene Malari. I don't think is she with the town anymore?
yeah,
But
she is.
it shows they were trying to figure out where this reimbursement should go. And yes, and Mary wrote, I applied for a partial reimbursement for a Mass RTP grant for the amount of 28,639. And then the matching funds supported by the town of the ARPA funding was 71,5977. So that 28,639 is us receiving the revenue from the grant, the matching funds. And then, so is the 15,090, does that become net of revenues, expenses?
You know,
And it's,
Jenny, were you just reading something or were you doing math in your head?
I was reading an email actually that you wrote to Ezekiel
Could
from
you
October 14th, 2025.
share it with us?
Oh yeah. I was reading it on my phone because I didn't want to take over my screen. See if I spell Ezekiel right. So it was let's go this way. I hate how they try to put things at the top to suggest them to you. Here we go. So it looks like you were looking for the grant funds, and then Ezekiel found it. So this was your hi, Ezekiel applied for a partial reimbursement from the Mass RTP grant for the amount of $28,639.07 as of June 2025. Have we received that reimbursement from the state yet? Matching funds supported by the town out of ARPA funding was for $71,5977. And Bob thanked you for copying him, and then Ezekiel got back to us. And
So he only confirmed that he had received the payment from the state.
yeah,
So we don't know where the 7,100
yeah.
came from.
So, and
I think one of the things that I don't know, about municipal government and the way their balance sheets work, right? And particularly with like ARPA grants and funding, when we signed the contracts with the consultant, the town had the obligation to satisfy those consultants, that financial obligation, even though it hadn't been billed yet. Could the town have allocated the ARPA funds out of that, or would the ARPA funds have only been allocated out of that, an actual invoice payment? That's something that I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think we should know.
Yeah, because to me it's weird that there was somehow just $100 left out of our ARPA allocation, even though at the time that went, Herlin was saying that went away, we hadn't received any invoices yet. But we had received, we had signed the contracts. I think there's a lot we got to know here, but I think we're probably not going to resolve it tonight.
Right.
We probably just got to all sit down together with Bob's balance sheet and kind of go through where we think things have come from and see if we can figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and we don't need to set a budget here anyway, so.
No, yeah. And I think having things reflected on Munis properly is what the finance director is really working hard at right now. Because I know some of these numbers are skewed in other ways, not just ours.
I do want to say that this is the best thing I've seen as far as the budget goes since I have been on the commission. So there's that. I don't know about before me, how things were, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. At least knowing what's there, 80% of what's there, maybe 70. Okay. All right. So does anyone else have any other comments or questions about budget? Nope. Okay. Well, we set our budgets as best we could, and I think we can move on from that now. Okay. We don't have any encroachment issues. Hollis Road residents, we did have a report of ATV use in the Hollis area, so behind, oh, Mary?
Do we know we don't have any encroachment issues?
Oh, that's true. Well, we don't have any on the agenda, but that's an excellent point.
Okay. I just want to make certain that the record, is not
Yes.
misrepresentative. I think we've lost track of the encroachment issues is what I had understood the last. status to
Harlan?
be.
Indicated at the last meeting that she and Bob are looking at a list that
Okay, cool.
exists. And right, Harlan?
Correct. Yep. I'm just waiting for him to get back.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Okay, yeah, so we should have stuff on encroachments on the agenda at some point, just not yet tonight. Okay, so Hollis residents, we had reports of an ATV going through the area, through the pollinator habitat and some of that area behind the Hollis residents. I let Harlan know, and Mike was able to very quickly, he got some signs and put them out there. So I want to say thank you to Mike for that. I know that Harlan said we also have signs in the office that she thinks that Mary may have had printed at some point in the past.
No, I think Bob probably had those printed, but yeah, there should be some in the office.
Okay. Yep. So we also have some in the office if more are needed. I do see that Ginny is on. I'm not sure if she has anything if this is what she's on for, or if she has anything that she wants to add. Ginny is the founder of the pollinator habitat, is how I would refer to her, maybe. I'm assuming it's that Ginny. Mike, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that after I was on that chain and realized, that we probably should act quickly, and fortunately, Harlan did text me back saying that there were signs, so I was able to put up 4 no ATV signs, which had been in the office. I guess Mary or Bob, whomever, to have made these. So I didn't want to put it on the big butterfly sign. I thought, but as you enter the road to park on a large tree, I was able to display a no ATV sign, and also another ATV or no ATV sign at the post where there was another sign posted. So as you go into the habitat, so if you didn't see it at the beginning, you definitely had to see it going into the habitat. And I also had an extra sign that I put on the shed. So if you went in through that direction, you would see a sign there, because I think there was reports that the ATV did go by the shed on Hollis Road. And I also put one on the lower kiosk, so it wouldn't overpower the signage that we want people to read about the pollinator habitat. It was in the corner at the bottom of the kiosk, so it's definitely there, but it wasn't the main focus of the kiosk. And we also got a wetlands protection area, do not disturb sign, added as well to as you go into the pollinator habitat. Once you've parked your car, you would have to see the sign, and it gives the Conservation Commission and the phone number. So if you wanted to question, why can't I ride my ATV? Well, you can call the number. We'll tell you it's not permitted. So those are the 4 no ATV signs and the 1 wetlands protection area sign with the do not disturb. So hopefully that will do it. I haven't heard of any other incidents of that encroachment. And so we'll wait and see. And there was no damage as far as I know. I mean, they may have gone through some fields in back of Hollis Road where, I've only mowed the front and part of the back, but this is like, I believe, toward the back where there's some very tall grass. And I think Jen, our photographer, kind of talked with the person and saying, you may not want to go in there, given you can't see what's on the bottom. So apparently the person was thankful that he got the warning, but was made clear that they ought not to be ATVing on this property.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. I actually was out there yesterday. I think I went yesterday to do some watering, and I saw the signs, and
Oh, you did?
I noticed them. Yes, they were noticeable. I
Okay.
think very prominent, but not too prominent to overpower stuff, but they were definitely
Right.
noticeable. So thank you for doing that. And thank you, Herlin, for, getting together with Mike and getting that done so quickly. Also, as far as the Hollis residents, I know you had provided us with a quote for cleaners and we had approved it. I don't know what is the next steps.
We have scheduled, I was given word that it would be best if the cleaning could take place in the new fiscal year versus in the closing of the fiscal year. So we have scheduled VODA cleaning to come in on Monday, July 6th and 7th to do their cleaning.
Okay.
And I will be there to open doors and make sure, water is available and electricity is available. And I'll probably be there in the next day or so and check all those other items. Plus, it's time to mow the lawn again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
For taking care of that. Chris Ruth sent out a list of work needed. I don't know if I'm going to put that up on the screen just because.
Oh, Madam Chair?
Yep.
Do you really want to go through that this evening?
No. I don't think I just wanted to just call everybody's attention to it.
Okay.
Do you want to go through it?
Through it, and I'm not sure if that's something we want to just do together, but you're the chairperson.
I'm open to suggestions. I don't know that I love the idea of throwing up everything that might be wrong with the property.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong. You know what I mean? We don't need to throw up a list of.
Well, there's a lot of right things in that list as well. So, but in lieu, I was going to ask Herlin if she had a chance to schedule her meeting with the attorney vis-a-vis a new custodial agreement. And I know there was some time on Thursday, whether or not those were times that you were planning on meeting with the attorney regarding that.
So I wanted to, and then I was advised that we should set up a meeting between the town manager and possibly the chair and maybe you, Mike, Commissioner
All right, I'd be
LaRouche.
glad to attend.
I have asked for some time and I'm just waiting to hear back. There seems to be conflicting opinions on this property with regards to moving forward with the custodian, and I am not well versed in the whole gist of how things run. She doesn't seem to be fond of having someone reside there again and fixing the house. And I think that's something, the town manager, and I think that's something that needs to be discussed between the commission and her.
Aren't we bound by the gift that was given to the Conservation Commission that we maintain this property? Is she aware of?
I don't know what I to be honest, I was a little unprepared to have that conversation with her at the time. If I can be fully transparent, I was not ready to sit down with her. We were in the middle of other meetings and this just came up briefly. And I said, this is a conversation that you need to have with the commission. If this is the way you feel, I think it should be relayed to them by you. And then we should kind of read or in depth go through what the stipulations are to, is it a restriction to the custodian or what the commission is bound by? And she said, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that we
I'm
should
willing to meet
meet.
at any time. Just give me some notice and I'll be glad to confirm a time to meet.
Okay. Yeah, I reached out to, I think, her executive assistant for some time and I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just let me know when you want to meet. I just need a little lead time because so I can put it on my calendar. Okay. I think we can move on from the Hollis property for now. Committee reports. Teddy, master plan? Anything?
No new updates. Still waiting to hear back about updates. Real quick, Jenny, did you go over the invasive plant talk at the beginning of the meeting?
I did.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. I just gave an update of what, Lisa's looking to do. And, the thing about the library, having a talk at the library, using social media to advertise it. I actually talked to Renee Emke at the select board because I was wondering what the plan with social media is. And she let me know that people in the offices are helping out with social media and Herlyn is going to be helping out with social media, which she did at her last job. So she'll be able to put up anything that we want to, talk about with it so we can get it advertised when we're looking to get it done. And then we'd have to stick with manual removal for this year. If you have anything else you want to add?
No, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Open space, Andrea. I think I know your update for open space.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say I missed the meeting and I promise to do better next month.
It happens to the best of us, especially these meetings that don't meet regularly. I think it's a lot easier to make it to conservation because it's like first and third Wednesday. And but stormwater's like all over the place. I'm always like, oh man, I have stormwater tonight. So, and I've missed stormwater by accident. So, it'd be very awkward if I missed conservation then. Okay, stormwater, we are meeting actually the 24th. We have not met since the last meeting. So I have no updates there. Do we have any communications, public comment?
Oh, I do.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't know. We used to have like kind of a routine conservation commission kind of area for updates, and we don't have that anymore, so I don't know where else to put it. Yeah, so we had a lot of NHS students. We did the project in Table Rock for kind of Earth Day. It wasn't on Earth Day, it was on the following Saturday. And then we had a lot of NHS students who were not able to attend because it was the school break and their families were away. So we had a lot of NHS students volunteer and they did some trail maintenance down at Cowdrey at the Townsend Harbor entrance. They went out and picked up, trash at about 8 of the trailheads across town. And then also did some additional trail marking in 3 properties that I knew needed some enhancements. So we really appreciate the, Lunenburg High School National Honor Society coming and helping out with the various projects that we have. Right now I have some Eagle Scouts that are reaching out and asking for a project list to pick from. I've gotten input from Bob, and so one of the things we've identified is there are a couple of kiosk major trail entrances that don't have trailhead kiosks. So I have that on the list. I know the bridge at Hunting Hills desperately needs attention. We also identified, Jenny, with your help, that if we get the grant funding that we put in for Mass Trails, there is wetland replication labor that would be required at Table Rock. That's an opportunity. There are at the Reno property where we have a permit to put in a trailhead and provide safe access. We would have to get in there and actually create some trails, maybe put in some water crossings, bridges and whatnot. So I identified that. One of the things I would like to see in Reno is maybe a couple of wildlife viewing platforms and one or two ADA accessible trails that meet the ADA accessibility trail guidelines. So, I mean, that's on the list. Bob kind of thought that might be something that we would have to put in some for a grant. And, and the challenge about funding that through grant is, we might not be able to get an Eagle Scout to do it because those kids tend to want to, plan something in the summer and have it completed the following summer, and grant cycles tend to go on 3-year cycles, right? From application to final reimbursement. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out to everybody and make certain they had visibility to it. One other item, Jenny, that you and I had come up with is a couple of years ago, there had been a violation on town property at Zero Reservoir Road, which is the town parcel that abuts Lake Shirley. And this was specifically right across the street from 40 Fire Road 12. If I could share, just to kind of reacquaint everybody with this parcel. Okay, can everybody see the GIS map?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Fire Road 12. This parcel is owned by the town. And this area, which has now been, you can see it's been planted back with seed. You can even see the barrier boulders that DPW put there to keep people from going back. And Herlin, for your benefit and maybe for Andrea and Teddy's benefit, one of the residents had gone in and cleared this area and paved it and, put a whole bunch of his household property on it. So that encroachment's been cleared up. But, I was thinking that it would be nice, even better if we went back and actually, seeded it with natives, maybe put some, native dogwoods in there or something like that to really discourage people from wanting to reclaim this back. Now, this town property, it's not under the care and control of conservation. So I think we would have to go get permission from the select board, before granting, or asking a Eagle Scout to go do that. But this is something that I thought might be a nice thing to do. I don't know how others feel about that.
I definitely agree with that. I have a question though. Is this property is the parcel ID is Zero Reservoir Road? I mean, the parcel
Correct.
address? Because
Yeah.
there's an A&R on
Really?
Zero Reservoir Road in OpenGov.
Well, I mean, this is the tax, this is the Lunenburg tax GIS, right? It says
Yeah.
Zero Shirley Reservoir Road.
Okay. Maybe I wonder if I think there's one. I think there's Zero Shirley Reservoir, and I think there's Zero Reservoir. Herlin, you have your hand up.
Yeah, the other A&R is for a different parcel. The A&R for the Zero Reservoir Road is for the lot that's across from the entrance of Round Road.
That would be just down here. There's Round Road. Oh,
Right,
it's these
that's,
parcels.
yes,
Because these just
Okay.
got subdivided, right?
yes, that's the A&R. That's also Zero
Okay.
Reservoir. If you click on any of those, I think they might have just gotten numbers like 944, 942, but yes, Zero Reservoir Road right there.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. 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 Yeah, the one I'm talking about is
Okay.
up here. And it says
All right.
0 Shirley Reservoir Road, but I mean the road that they're on is Reservoir Road.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway,
Okay.
this is the parcel, right?
I was just trying to picture
This is
anybody
the
trying to
area.
develop there, and I was getting confused.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's owned by the town, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyway, Herlin, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that's a great idea, and it doesn't always have to be like a structured project. It could be something like this for the Eagle Scouts. I think it's a great idea.
I think, one of the things I try to think about for them is I think with their Eagle Scout criteria, they're supposed to come up with a project, do the planning, do the, budget, do the execution, go through whatever the approvals are, right, and whatnot. And so that most of those things come easier with a implementation project than a trail maintenance project, So I was trying to think of something that they could really kind of hit their metrics and do well on. And this one, I thought the building the kiosk, also hits it, but this is one I'd really like to see done. And Herlin, do you think the best place to start for asking for permission, or at least getting like the nod of, if we approach the town and said, hey, could we work with an Eagle Scout to do this? Would it be to go to the select board? What do you think?
Is it Conscom property?
No,
You
it's
said?
not. It's town-owned property.
It's
It's not
town,
under, yes.
right. I
Yeah.
think it would be the select board. I think putting out just hey, we're wanting to do this. I'm not sure that it'll take much other than like a formal presentation to them. I
Mhm.
think they would be open to having something
Yeah.
like this done.
Okay. I can go ahead and socialize it and see, if Renee, who's the current chair, wants me to do any type of preliminary something, or if I can just kind of, put the concept out there and then leave any formal, approval and presentation to an Eagle Scout if we can get one of them to grab hold of it and leave it to that.
Mike, you have your hand up?
Yes, Madam Chair. We had an Eagle Scout project at the Pollinator Habitat, if you remember, last year. And I saw the application, and it's pretty extensive for the Eagle Scout to, but I remember on one of the things, or it was stipulated that they had to provide the fundraising for the project. So how would that fit in with this project here, Mary? Or is this
Well, their fundraising can be as simple as they asked the Conservation Commission for funding, and we said yes, which we have done on a number of the kiosks.
okay?
And so in this regard, right, they could ask us for funding. We could also maybe point them to some friendly, people across the community to maybe ask for seeds, ask for maybe training on how to do, native sowing and when to do it and whatnot. So it could be take a number of different venues, I think, or avenues.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I just
Okay.
wanted to socialize that with you guys. If you can think of any other projects or anything that you think should be on our kind of our dream list, right, of improvements, and particularly things that are more of a project nature and less of a maintenance kind of nature, that these, because we do have good engagement from the Eagle Scouts. So the more we can find things for them to do, I think the easier it'll be for them to continue to approach us with those asks. But yeah, I'd love to have a really long list dream sheet for them to kind of come and pick from. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mary. And then as far as the agenda, having a spot for things like that, I guess could we use updates for that, or do you think we should add something to the, because with the new business updates, would that fit there, you think, or should we add something for stuff like that for subsequent agendas?
I think on the new updates, we can add a subsection from like under new business and updates, we can do something. I'm trying to think. There's we used to have in another municipality that I worked at, like commissioner comments or commissioner updates too. We can
Yeah,
add something like that to it.
I feel like we used to have that. I don't know where it went. We had
Well,
something
yeah,
similar.
we used to have in the, it wasn't under committee reports, but it was a, sort of kind of more in that area. It was like conservation property updates or something of that nature. And we would talk about grants there and, trail work and trail projects and whatnot. But to be fair, we didn't have it for long. Like, I came up with, I'm like, oh, hey, we probably ought to be doing a better job of making this visible, right? And then we added it, and then, it was there for 6 months and then went away.
Yeah. Okay. I meant to say it while he was still on, but Brad Coons was on the call again tonight. I don't know if anybody noticed that. He has since dropped off, but he did sit through almost an entire meeting. And as far as I know, he is moving forward with an application to become a full commissioner.
Awesome.
So, and he's already sat through 3 meetings now. I'm going to reach out to him in the morning, just to say, sorry, I didn't acknowledge him, as being on the meeting tonight. He's not, obviously he hasn't filled out an application yet, or he did just reach out to Melissa. And I know they just did appointments the other night. Richard was reappointed.
Yay.
He should be hopefully able to get sworn in before the next meeting. He is out on his boat for a week or 2. So Richard's reappointed. We did not have any new appointments. Because I was actually sent 2 people like right before they were doing appointments, but their applications were really old, and Conservation Commission was like last on their choices. So they ended up being appointed somewhere else. But I have spoken to Brad, and then I haven't seen any other applications come across. So he may be able to fill that slot at some point soon, though. That would be nice. Especially with somebody who's been able to sit through 3 classes already, 3 meetings already. That's pretty impressive. So
Feats of endurance.
yes, exactly. At that, do we have anything else that we need to discuss before? Next meeting is on July 1st, 2026 at 7:00 on Zoom. Do we have anything else we need to discuss before we adjourn? All right, I think I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Good
Have a
night.
good night, everybody.
Aye.
Good night.